What is going on, everybody? Dan the Ultra Dad here. Hope you're doing well this evening. Let's talk about the Mohican 100 from last year. What happened? Like, why was I unable to finish that race? Why did I DNF? That's what we're going to be discussing tonight. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome again to Ultra Dad. We talk all things running, but especially trail running and ultra marathons. So tonight, I want to talk to you about what happened at last year's edition of the Mohican 100. It's kind of crazy, man. Like I really enjoyed that race. I had a lot of fun. My brother ran with me as usual.
Hey, doing good.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you, dude.
My family was there. Did go through 2022. Did I say 2002?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So we got Will down there. We got
Can I say hi?
we got Mom, or that's my wife, Nikki. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
There's Audrey. She's going crazy. She's having fun. Things were going very well. Until about mile 45. Mile 45 is when I just started, if you've ever run an ultra marathon, you know what I mean. Time just kind of starts to stand still, and you kind of enter into the twilight zone, that I like to call it, because I'm going pretty slow, but I'm having a great time. So, well, let's be honest, right now is not such a great time, but you kind of lose track of what's going on, and you start to make some poor decisions. And that's what happened to me. So about mile 45, we're closing in on the end of the second loop of the Mohican 100. It's a 4-loop course. It's actually two 27-mile loops and then two 23-mile loops. So I guess it was really, around 46, 47. I was getting close to approaching. If you've ever run the Mohican 100, the campground is kind of the end of each loop. I was approaching the campground at the end of my second loop, and I remember the exact moment that basically my race was over. And that's when I decided I wasn't feeling good. I was feeling very sore. I was feeling, it was 50 miles. I had run just about 50 miles, and I started to increase my pace for some reason. And it was, I had no business doing that at that time in the race. And my brother even said, you sure you want to go that fast? Like, let's scale back a little bit. And I was just like, I'm feeling good. I got to go. And that was the end of my Mohican 100. I should have been probably scaling back. I probably should have been walking, to be honest, just to kind of gather myself and recoup. A lot of friends were running with us. I'd say we did a pretty good job that first loop, the first 25, 27 miles of being conservative. However, I still think there was a lot going on. And at the end of the second loop, instead of pushing it and maxing out, I should have been scaling back and really gathering myself. At the end of the second loop, I went to the camper. If you've seen my video, you kind of get a window into my soul at that time. Whereas I think if I would have walked for the last couple miles, or at least walked a lot of the last couple miles of that second loop, I would have been in a much better position, a little more rested, and I would have been able to take in some food. I did start that third loop. I only made it like 3 miles. I only made it a mile and a half, not 3 miles. A mile and a half into that loop. And at that point, I started to throw up, and my body couldn't hold in what it needed to. All of those calories, all of that, the nutrition. That's when that was the end of my race. So, yeah, let's talk about how I might do better next year. I think number one, I think the biggest key, and it's going to sound very cliche, and it is, I need to run my own race. I was trying to basically match what other people were doing, mostly my brother, but I was trying to push it too hard, and I shouldn't have. I should have basically just said, pause, hold on, everyone. I'm just going to do what I need to do, and do run my race. So I think that is the overarching theme to my problems with the Mohican 100 this year. How do I do that? I think I can do that by being much more conservative. And I need to somehow remind myself that, running extra fast and trying to increase my pace at mile 50 is probably not going to be a good strategy to finishing the 100-miler. So especially, redlining or in any way, pushing my pace in any way, none of that is going to be effective, and it very well could end my race. It's definitely the mental game. And the mental game of staying smart, running smart, racing smart, and not pushing my limits so early on in the race. All right, we just passed the first aid station, feeling pretty good. Mr. Day here looks like he's doing well. Todd's doing well.
Got my pickles. I was nervous when they said there was a supply chain issue with the pickles. I was like, that's my favorite.
I think number two, I need to figure out a way to overcome a stomach problem in a race. I don't know what it is, but my entire life, I don't know if it's not really a fear, but it's just whenever my stomach turns and I'm throwing up, it's the worst place I can be. I mean, I just hate that feeling. And I know everyone does, but for me, it's especially bad. And I need to just learn how to do it if I have to and move on. I think sometimes that makes the most sense. Hopefully it doesn't come to that. It's really only happened to me in one race, and that was this race. So hopefully that won't happen as much. But if it does happen, I need to learn how to deal with it and just move on and not allow myself to be completely destroyed by it. And I think my third strategy for finishing my 100-miler this year is going to be that I really need to buy into the suffering before the race starts. This year, I'd say my first 100-miler that I finished, the Mohican 100, 2019. I just ran it. I didn't even think about it, really. I didn't think about the suffering that I'd go through. It went very smoothly, and I was able to finish the race. The second time I finished the Mohican 100, I went through a really, really dark spot, and I was able to push through. I think it might be easier for me if I just accept my fate, basically, before I start the race. Just accept that there's going to be several moments where I'm going to want to quit, and I won't need to quit. It won't be something that's a safety issue or anything like that, but there's going to be moments where, a couple moments in the race where I'm going to feel like absolute garbage. And I need to remind myself of that before the race starts and just accept that and embrace that. It's easy to say, and it's definitely cliche, embracing the pain, embracing the suck. But with 100-milers, you really have to buy into it. If you don't, then when it happens, it's going to take you by surprise, and it's probably going to tank your race. You're probably going to DNF. Anyway, so those are my three things that I think I need to focus on for this year's 100-miler. Once again, I'm not really sure what that 100-miler is going to be. Anyway, that's all I got for you tonight. I hope you're doing well this evening. I hope you had you're having a good week so far, and we will catch you in the next one.